It took more than 70 years, but in 1928, the first edition of the Oxford English Dictionary was finally published in full. This was as comprehensive a record as humanly possible of the English language, more than 400,000 words. But some half dozen or so words were left out, quite deliberately, despite having an impeccable pedigree. Take the word which is still considered the most offensive in the language. Look it up in the C volume, and you won't find it. It's in the modern dictionary. Nevertheless, viewers of a sensitive disposition might wish to look away now. Germaine Greer is not in that camp. We asked her to consider the word's long history and its future.
Look inside your dictionary, and L-O-V-E you will see. But nothing in the dictionary will tell you what that word can be. Love is a four-letter word. Love is a four-letter word. By the time you really learn what it is all about, it can drive you crazy, turn you inside out. But love is a four-letter word.
Why is this the most offensive word in the English language? Over time, all the other rude words have lost their potency, but this one seems to have gained power. Do you find the word offensive?
I do, actually.
Yes.
No.
No, I don't.
Shouldn't be used about anywhere.
If it's someone I don't like, yeah.
You would never use it in lovemaking?
No.
It actually doesn't really bother me.
Don't think it's appropriate in civilised company. I have in times used the C word, but I kind of save it for those special occasions when no other word is going to suffice.
If you stick your finger in the car door, that's probably the right time and place.
It would be more offensive you saying cunt than me saying it.
Hear a lady use it, well then, not a lady, are they?
Don't like swearing at all, and especially that C word.
In the 1970s, I thought this word for the female genitalia shouldn't be abusive. I believed it should be an ordinary, everyday word. But whilst I championed the C word, other people saw no problem with the decent words women had been taught, and they still don't. Well, I hear you say she's an educated woman. Why does she have to use the vulgar term? Why can't she use the proper word? By which I suppose you would mean vagina. But what's proper about that word? First of all, it's a Latin word, originally applied in the 17th century by male anatomists to any muscle covering, not just the female genitals. Secondly, it refers to the internal canal only. All the bits that make it fun are left out. The C word refers to the whole box and dice. But the really nasty thing about vagina is what the word really means is sword sheath. Now, I refuse to think of my sex as simply a receptacle for a weapon. To me, the C word is far less contentious. The word can be traced back to the prehistoric ancestor of English, German and all the Scandinavian languages. In Middle Dutch and Old Frisian you get kunte, and in the Vikings' Old Norse kunta. The Germanic word from which ours and these stem, some 2,000 years old, was kunton. This in turn probably evolved from a word in an earlier Indo-European tongue, gud, which means a hollow space or enclosing object. In English, we can't pin the word down until the 13th century. In the heart of the city of London, beside the old church of St. Pancras, there used to be a street popular with prostitutes. Everyone would have known exactly what was sold there, thanks to its name. Over there, running alongside the old church of St. Pancras, there was an alley. It was called Grope Cunt Lane. There were grope cunt lanes in many cities. It referred, of course, to the haunt of prostitutes. Though it's fair to say, in some towns it got shortened to Grope Street and then to Grape Street. But for whatever reason, those names have virtually disappeared. My own theory is that people found they could say the name, and as long as the names were vernacular and known only to local people, they could use them. But when you had official street names, unfortunately, the C word had to disappear. Literature, however, always trod more carefully with the word. In the late 14th century, in the comic Miller's Tale, the poet Geoffrey Chaucer puns on it in the line, "He caught here by the quainte," which literally means the peculiar parts. Shakespeare also sidestepped the word when, for instance, in Twelfth Night, Malvolio deciphers Olivia's handwriting with the words, "These be her very C's, her U's and her T's, and thus makes she her great P's." We rarely find it used directly, but in the 17th century one poet chose to use it as a verbal wrecking ball.